What is going on, everybody in the XRP community and the digital asset space as a whole? First and foremost, if you see any ads on this video claiming if you send crypto to this address and they will send you more back, that is a scam. Do not do it. There are scams everywhere right now. We have a very good video for you all today. I'm going to get into the IMF. I'm going to get into European Central Bank. There was an interview with Christine Lagarde. Going to get into the US-China relations as far as digitization and what's going on as far as a new document that just came out for a proposal from a senator, basically saying the US has got to really step up their game. All right, I did want to start with this. I put out a tweet yesterday basically stating that I would really enjoy interviewing some individuals in the digital asset space, and I actually got a response back, and I have an interview with Christian Hasker, who is the Chief Marketing Officer of Hedera Hashgraph, this Saturday morning. So if you have any suggestions for questions, obviously nothing price related because I won't ask that in the first place, feel free to add down in the comments and I will filter through them and ask him the ones that I think are relevant. I think I've got some good questions for him too. So, okay, moving on. All right, this just came out today, breaking. The CFTC has just approved a final rule on the cross-border application of certain swap provisions under the Commodity Exchange Act. This was the final rule. The exception to the rule basically expired on the 21st. I don't think this is as big as a lot of people are making it out to be. I know XRP is mentioned in the CFTC document. What I believe that exception to the rule was that expired was banks did not have to basically tell their clients what the fees were going to be for transfers. And now that rule has expired, we obviously know that Ripple can basically tell exact fees up front, and you'll know on the back end how much you're going to receive. XRP obviously adds to the utility and facilitation of that. Just to, you know, prove that I'm not talking out of wherever here, this is that remittance rule, and it talks basically about recent market developments and potential solutions through the CTFC. And it talks about XRP, the continued growth. They're going to foster the continued growth and expanding partnerships of virtual currency companies, such as Ripple, which offer both a payments messaging platform to support cross-border money transfers, as well as a proprietary virtual currency XRP, which can be used to effect settlement of those transfers. Now, we obviously know that XRP is not a proprietary currency to RippleNet. It's open source. The XRPL is open source. However, just goes to show that the CFTC somewhat understands what Ripple is trying to do by leveraging XRP, and that's a good thing in my opinion. So this came out yesterday. I didn't see anybody post this. And very interesting document here from Tobias Adrian from the International Monetary Fund. We all know Christine Lagarde, head of the European Central Bank, used to be the head of the IMF. Now, this is evolving to work better together, public-private partnerships for digital payments. Speech delivered at the Building a Central Bank Digital Currency, a Race to Reality conference, which was sponsored by R3. Many of you may know R3's Corda Settler, the first digital asset to be utilized on Corda Settler, was XRP. I'm not going to read through this whole thing because it's pretty long, but it talks about interoperability. Central banks would also face new challenges specific to partnering with private firms. I will point out 3 specific challenges. Just going to read this paragraph. The first is the interoperability of coins. This is specific to a synthetic central bank digital currency. Interoperability is important for users, so holders of different coins can pay each other. And it is important for market contestability, so new firms can enter and compete on a level playing field. We've heard level playing field before, everybody. We've heard synthetic CBDC before. We've heard the Central Bank of France basically mention that Ethereum and XRP's networks can facilitate tokenizing a CBDC into a different crypto asset, basically, which is where I believe this goes. Interoperability, to me, between nations and between CBDCs probably won't happen, at least not in anywhere in the near to medium term. I could be wrong about that. I still feel very strongly that those central bank digital currencies, which are fast approaching, will need bridged. Okay, now we've got Christine Lagarde. from the IMF here. This was interesting. This is the last question that she gets asked in this panel. This came out either yesterday or today. The interviewer asks about globalization and what the post-pandemic world is basically going to look like as far as transformations are concerned. Now, she talks about a green economy. Christine Lagarde does. But she also talks about, why would I fly to all corners of the world as often as I have, rather than just use some of the technological devices in order to talk to people and share ideas and communicate? We obviously know Brad Garlinghouse has talked about the financial aspect of, you know, it's quicker to board a plane with a briefcase full of money than it is to send a cross-border payment through the SWIFT network. So interesting here. I'm not directly tying this into XRP or anything, but it just goes along with the rhetoric that the European Central Bank, IMF, World Bank, World Economic Forum, they're all talking about the new normal, digitization, globalization, which you know, has its benefits and downsides too, obviously, but it's coming regardless of whether or not we like it. So it just makes sense to pay attention to all of this. So you can go look on, this is right on ECB's website. Just go to European Central Bank, Google search it, go to their website, excuse me, and you will find this interview right here. This is very interesting, okay? This just came out, I think, within the past 6 to 8 hours, maybe overnight. Pandemic era policymaking and the future of United States-China relations. This is Senator Marsha Blackburn, 116th Congress, July 22nd, 2020. And it does talk a lot about in here, Congress needing to pass many laws very quickly to enable the U.S. to compete. Cryptocurrency is talking about money laundering. We all know that. Department of Justice should enforce strict anti-money laundering rules on the cryptocurrency exchanges. We get it. Congress should pass federal privacy legislation as well as cryptocurrency-friendly domestic regulation to ensure the U.S. provides an optimal regulatory environment for digital currency trading markets. I mean, there is more in this. I found more earlier. I'm not going to go through this whole thing here, but it's talking about, you know, the U.S. needs to catch up. I don't think we're as far behind as many people think we are. I just think it's all rhetoric, and it's all being spread to the masses in a way that is more appealing to the masses, I guess I should say. I have never seen this before. This is tosblock.com manual, and this is a catalog of their provisions as far as the market is concerned. This is through Blockware. Now, pay attention to this because I've never seen this. This is patent and certificate. Registering 29 software program copyrights with Korea Copyright Commission. Name of copyrighted work. 29 software programs, including XRP payment system with Pathfind algorithm. Computer software program through Blockware Company Limited. This is June of 2018. Blockware, if you do a little bit more digging into them, they're basically just a Bitcoin mining firm. So curious, if they're so into Bitcoin, why they would patent an XRP payment system. Makes you wonder, right? All right, Ripple's partner alliance may give way to Japan-Vietnam corridor. This is SBI, and just more adoption for RippleNet here. I'm not going to read that whole press release. I'm sure that's already been circulated enough. All right, Chinese fintech giant Ant Group launches new blockchain brand AntChain. This is giant, everybody. You know, a lot of us here in the States aren't directly in the know as far as how big Ant Financial is, Ant Group, AntChain, Alibaba. These are gigantic, arguably, you know, as big as Google, as big as Amazon type stuff. And, you know, the fintech arm Ant Group of the Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba Group and the parent of mobile payments company Alipay has launched its new blockchain brand, dubbed AntChain. AntChain supports more than 50 use cases. They claim to have the ability to support 1 billion user accounts, right? So like, what is that? Like 15, 14% of the world's population, 16%, and process 1 billion transactions per day. I mean, they are a giant, everybody. So I don't think I really need to talk more into that. This is interesting here too. Winklevoss-owned Gemini now provides custody for .crypto blockchain domains. I saw a couple people post this today. I found this earlier this morning. This has to do with unstoppable domains. Now, if you're not aware, Unstoppable Domains is also a part of the Pay ID initiative, which was started and founded basically by Ripple. So, and Unstoppable Domains replace cryptocurrency addresses with a human readable name. This all comes down to adoption, everybody. To send cryptocurrency, all you need to know is the recipient's blockchain domain. Instead of this, you get this, smile.crypto. How much easier is that than the, your public, whatever, your private, whatever, your tag, whatever. This is about making it as simple as your grandma can end up sending this stuff. And I'm sure grandparents will be in the next grandparents, I don't know, maybe 10, 12 years, but it's coming. All right, now Visa lays out platform agnostic approach to crypto and blockchain. This came out yesterday, but just based on the OCC news, basically allowing federal banks and all banks in the country to custody cryptocurrency. I did not put this in my video yesterday. This just goes to show you many of these larger institutions are understanding that it is about a level playing field. It's about utility, and it's about, survival of the fittest. Let the best assets win. The best assets that solve an actual problem that have an actual use case. So platform agnostic just means they don't care. They're open for any sort of developments that enable their customers to have a better user experience through Visa. And we all know the relationships Visa's had with Earthport, et cetera, and some of the feelings that us in the XRP community have with what Visa's doing. So now here we get into, as Crypto Eddie calls it, the fluff, but this is just the generic news for all of you. Binance will use Syscoin bridge for BUSD stablecoin. So I really have never looked into Syscoin. Maybe I will a little bit more. Binance Smart Chain adds Chainlink oracles for better decentralized finance. And there's a lot of people, I know Sam is like a big, not very much so into Chainlink. I'm not overly into it either, but I always say on this channel, I do believe in multiple winners. And if there's news out there for the crypto community, I'm going to present it, whatever I find, regardless. I'm not going to overthink it because I know what Chainlink's done from a price perspective, and I don't know. I'm going to present the news as I find it. So Binance Smart Chain adds Chainlink oracles for better DeFi. Firmachain integrates Chainlink to improve blockchain contract management. Now we've got Flow partners with SIA to develop digital banking services. Now this is Pundi X news. I haven't heard about Pundi X in a little while here. Pundi X announces support for blockchain infrastructure, Wanchain's cross-chain assets. And this is one that I haven't heard of in a while. This is Omisego, OMG. If you were around in 2017, 2018, Omisego was extremely hyped. Basically a scaling solution for Ethereum. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that Omisego was developing on the Plasma network for Ethereum. And this is Japan's financial services agency approves OMG because Omisego rebranded to OMG. Japan's FSA approves OMG network token for trading on exchanges. So that's cool. And then last but not least, it's always hard with Vimeo. I'm not sure if this is a brand new video or if maybe this was older, but this is Craig DeWitt. This is Ripple's product lead. And there was an interview today with a YouTuber that has like 100 subscribers. I found this on Vimeo. And this is Ripple's product lead on bootstrapping new ecosystems using blockchain. It's a fascinating video. It's about it's 40 minutes long, but there's definitely some good info in here, and it just talks about a lot of this is about the network effect. Okay, if you're not aware what the network effect is, it's basically you build out the network, similar to what Amazon and Google did, until there's a tipping point where there's really no. I don't want to say there's not going to ever be a disruption of what you've built. It's better to be put. The tipping point is basically whenever competition really doesn't exist so much anymore because you've already taken over all of the possible network or the majority of it. And once that occurs, so you see, in my opinion, what Ripple has been building is essentially the network effect. I mean, look at all of the rails that they've been building over the past few years. Look at all of the relationships, the correspondent banking relationships, everything. We talk on this channel a lot about them building a parallel system. It's 100% happening. What do you think happens when Swift GPI, and if you're not aware, Swift GPI is essentially pre-validated messaging relationships between two institutions that makes settlement quicker via Nostro and Vostro. Nostro and Vostro are capital that's held in both banks. What do you think happens whenever that isn't enough? You know what I mean? When the DLT and the blockchain system is running in tandem, or I should say in parallel with the legacy system, don't you think that it just doesn't stop with messaging? Don't you think that settlement using legacy Nostro and Vostro accounts, don't you think that goes away eventually, and then it's just everything becomes instant settlement? There's no trapped liquidity. I get asked a lot about why does it matter? Why is XRP needed? Because there's a lot of trapped liquidity. You get different numbers. You get 7 trillion all the way to 20-some trillion dollars in trapped liquidity, depending on what source you get your information from. But all right, well, I think that this is pretty clear. Again, I'm gonna I have an interview with Hedera on Saturday morning with Christian, and feel free to add some of your questions on here, and I will filter through them. And just interesting, the rhetoric that's going on across the board between all of the largest financial institutions in the world right now. So something's going on. I say it all the time. I've been telling people for years. My buddy called me on the phone. He's like, how did you know? I'm like, well, because it's plain as day. It's in black and white. It's right in front of our faces, you know? So how did you not know? I hope you guys have a good night. All right, later.